cheating is something that surprisingly a lot of GMs do in Dungeons & Dragons, which is weird because most people wouldn't tolerate this in other games like poker. Wow, look at that, another royal flush. That's like the 18th one in a row. What are the odds of that? Pretty good, right? And definitely not something that's out of the ordinary. Poker's a dumb game. But Ben, I hear you saying, isn't that why a GM has a GM screen? I mean, after all, that's so that way you can fudge the dice rolls, isn't it? Oh yes, I heard that. You didn't think I heard that, did you? I mean, I like to keep my friends company, and we are friends, aren't we? I have heard that some people are okay with fudging dice rolls to save a character. I don't think that cheating to save a character is inherently bad. Here's the problem. Look, the ones you save aren't the ones who get mad. It's the people you don't save that do get mad. If you have a dragon that flies up and goes, blah, mega death face flames, and it kills everyone except for one guy who walks away unscathed, he's not going to be the one who grabs you around the scruff of the neck and flies with you out the 100th floor window. But don't you worry, I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to explain to him how you just didn't like his character as much on your way to the ground. Most GMs who cheat are like, well, I'm just not going to get caught. Oh, well, it's good that you've decided to opt out of getting caught. Who knew you could even do that? Kind of makes all those jewel thieves in jail look like a bunch of dumbasses now, doesn't it? Look, okay. My point is, just because the players didn't actually see the dice doesn't mean they can't tell that shit is up. It's like, yeah, a teenage couple might just say that they're playing Scrabble into the wee hours of the morning when they're alone together. But around the time the 12th kid rolls around, people can usually put it together that they're porking each other. From what I've seen, the GM thinks they're so clever when the villain just happens to escape from all the spells at the last minute and get away. Or if the doe-eyed paladin just happens to hit 3 goblins through the head with 1 crossbow bolt while hanging upside down blindfolded with 1 arm behind his back. Meanwhile, your character sometimes hurts himself getting out of bed in the morning. Like, oh yeah, you think players can't put that shit together that there might be a teensy-weensy bit of favoritism being shown? Players are actually pretty sharp about picking up when the GM fudges a bunch of dice behind the GM screen. They just won't say anything at the table to him. Usually if they actually confront the GM about it, you can just assume that he really botched it. It's kind of like if you started filling up your backyard with a sewage pit. The second the neighbors start complaining about all the crocodiles showing up in their living room, you've kind of crossed over the threshold of social appropriateness. Look, the issue I'm getting on about is that when the GM cheats, it usually hurts the game elements of a role-playing game. Say you have some players and they're presented with some kind of a challenge or puzzle, and let's say the players are running out of time, but they fail the challenge. And then, by some miracle, the problem solves itself. Or worse, when they do solve it and the puzzle unsolves itself right as the timer goes out. When the GM breaks that immersion, you don't just ruin that one puzzle. You ruin every other potential puzzle that you would throw at them. With cheating, it's a big deal if it's used to undermine the player's choices. Because if the players feel like their decisions aren't having an impact on the game, they stop taking the game seriously. That's when you get the, oh no, you guys, you're in a tight fix, aren't you? Oh no, if only there was some way to escape. Seriously, guys, you are being very unprofessional right now and are ruining everything. Or sometimes when GMs bullshit story elements, like if they have to retcon something, instead of saying, I botched the story, they try and say, I guess you guys must have missed something crucial back there. Worst case scenario, they believe you. That's when you get the paranoid party that searches every nook and cranny, even though there's nothing there. Even worst case scenario, they don't believe you, and they never search anything again because it doesn't matter. I do believe in taking a little bit of artistic liberty. Like, for example, if you have a character who just happens to run into the PCs to start a plot element, or the night of the 1,000-year anniversary of the Archlich just happens to be the night that the players arrive in town, I think that those are fine. The only thing which I despise is that when it's used to undermine the player's choices. Like, if they know that this is the 1,000-year anniversary of the Archlich, and so they just come back 5 days later. And then that's when they find out that there was a mistake and the Archlich wrecks shit on the 1,005th day of the anniversary. Wow, what are the odds? Then you have a problem. This might sound a little bit weird, but I think that the GM should tell the players that they don't want something to happen and shouldn't even bother rolling. Like, they're just gonna fudge the dice, there's no point in rolling them. Why? A few reasons. One is it does give the players a chance to dispute the ruling, which I think they should get an opportunity to do. And 2, it lets them know when you're making exception to the rules. If you GM something one way one day and change it the next, that's when they start getting confused why the vampire which they killed yesterday with a delicate sneeze is now tanking bullets from a Gatling gun like he's a Sherman tank. My basic point is that you need to be fair when you cheat. That makes sense if you don't think about it. Hopefully this might help out some GMs with running a game if the players aren't taking the game seriously. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.